Okay, students, last example. So n plus n squared minus 5 over n squared minus 1 equals n squared plus n plus 2 all over n plus 1. So if you want to, make this over 1 if that makes you comfortable. Remember, first step is always, okay, factor out your denominator. So n squared minus 1, that is the difference of two squares. So we are going to factor that out as n plus 1 times n minus 1. On the numerator, n squared minus 5. 5 is not a perfect square number, so that is not factorable. This denominator on the right side, n plus 1, that is not factorable, so we are going to leave it just like that. Then on the top, we have n squared plus n plus 2. Okay, so just like all of the other questions, we want to find the lowest common denominator. So between a 1, n plus 1, n minus 1, and clearly this is just a repeat of n plus 1. So the LCD is n plus 1 times n minus 1. Take each students and multiply. Are you guys ready? First, n. Okay, multiply by the LCD. N plus 1 times n minus 1. Then the second term, n squared minus 5 all over n plus 1 times n minus 1. Multiply that to your LCD. Make a big old bracket. Your LCD is n plus 1 times n minus 1. Then equals, okay, n squared plus n plus 2 all over n plus 1. Multiply this by your LCD, which is n plus 1 times n minus 1. All right, so for the first term, there's nothing to cancel, so let's distribute. Okay, we are going to, these two right here, students, when we multiply that out, it equals n squared minus 1, so let's multiply those out first. Then plus, that's going to reduce with that, and that's going to reduce with that, leaves us with n squared minus 5. On the right side now, this is going to be reduced with that, so now we have n squared plus n plus 2 times n minus 1. Okay, we need to FOIL some more. N times n squared is n to the third minus n. Okay, drop down our n squared, drop down our minus 5. Over here, n squared times n is n to the third. N squared times negative 1 is going to be negative n squared. N times n, guys, is n squared. N times negative 1 is negative n. 2 times n is 2n. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Let's see if we can combine like terms. We have 1n to the third on the left and 1n to the third on the right. We can definitely reduce those. And then I'm going to write it in order from the highest power, okay, which is n squared minus n minus 5. Over here, combine like terms. N squared and n squared, those are going to be reduced. Negative n and a positive 2n is now a positive 1n minus 2. Now use basic algebra to solve by moving the n over and adding 2 over. Remember, one of your sides got to be 0, so you could either factor it at the end. Okay, so this is now 0 because those are all gone. On the left side, n squared minus 2n minus 3. It is factorable, so let's factor. Remember, in the case that it's not, then you have to use the quadratic formula or complete the square. The factors are n minus 3 times n plus 1. Take each factor, set it equal to 0, and solve. So the first one, n equals 3. The second, n equals negative 1. Let's check to see if we have restrictions. If not, we have to state them. Okay, our restrictions, guys, n can never ever be negative 1 and positive 1. Since we said n can't be negative 1, we cannot keep this one, okay? So our only answer that we can keep is n equals to 3.